Welcome back to the Big Blue Lifers podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We're in the house to talk all things New York Football Giants training camp that really messed up NFL ranking and some other stuff that just found that we're going to get into for sure tonight. All right. How you doing, brother? How things going, man?
Feels good. Training camp starting. You know what that means? It means preseason's right around the corner, which means the regular season is right around the corner. So,
all right. This is our very first season, so I'm pumped. I'm pumped. This is our first season to get off, man. So I can't wait, man. So the best part, I guess we're not really burying the lead here. We know what it is. We get to talk about football. It's actually something to talk about. So we're pretty excited about that. As opposed to previous weeks where we had to piece it together. I thought they were good episodes personally, but I'm a little bit biased. But I think Jess and I are, and this is not to pat ourselves on the back, but we're really good at taking something that might be chicken crap and making it into chicken salad. So I think we're pretty good at that. So we did that throughout the entire off season so far. So now we got something to talk about. We won't have to work as hard. So this is good. All right. So I don't know where you want to start. There's a lot of things cooking that are kind of getting under both of our skins. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, where are we going with this? Where are we starting now? Are we starting with training camp? Are we starting with this ranking thing?
I think we should start with training camp. That's what the people want to hear. We've gone over like lists and disrespect to the Giants before. Let's give the people what they want.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, let's give the people what they want to hear. So we're talking about training camp. Where are we kicking it off from? Where are we going with this? Because there's a lot happening in this camp so far.
I think let's get some of the negatives out of the way. The Giants went out there. Jackson Dart, literal first pass of the day was a pick six. And, I just want to, give my thoughts on this. He really struggled today. I think he only took one rep with the starting unit, and Dart was mixing in with the twos and the threes. He finished about like 1 of 6, 1 of 7, had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He did see a lot more success. He looked a lot more comfortable in the 7-on-7 drills rather than the 11-on-11. So pressure was in his face. Things were off. It's to be expected. I know a lot of people are going to see that and be freaking out, but we knew what he was when we drafted him. He's going to be a project. We don't want him to play this year. We want him to sit. We want him to learn, get used to the system. And that all starts here in these training camps. And they are going to be rough. He is going to have days like this. The important thing is that he's learning. He didn't look scared in that 1 rep where he was with the starters. I was listening to, some breakdowns from people who were actually at training camp today. And they said that they loved what they saw and that Brian Burns is crashing down on him. He wasn't scared. He stood in the pocket. He ripped it to Darius Slayton. It was incomplete, but he wasn't jittery. He's got mechanical issues that he's going to be working on, but overall, it's a rough day. There's no denying that when you go like 1 of 6, 1 of 7 in these 11-on-11 drills, that's not a good day. But I'd rather see it from him than a guy who we're going to be talking a bit about later, Russ. And I don't know about you, but knowing what we know about Dart and the expectations for him, I'm not too worried about this.
All right. No, that's fair enough. I didn't get a chance to even get into it. I don't know why you didn't text me to remind me about training camp. Because, man, I forgot about that thing. I was in interviews all day. Totally forgot about it. It could have been on my TV set in the background at the very least. So I didn't see anything except for the interception to Nick Jones. And I saw the touchdown to Theo Johnson. I saw a number here from, I'm not sure what you saw there. I saw 3 of 7 passing. That interception, that pick, and a touchdown in those live drills. And Russell Wilson kind of jumped in there real quick, the veteran that he is, and said, hey, next play, let's keep it moving. Forget about what you did before. Move on to the next thing. I'm very grateful that Russell Wilson was there because imagine if he had to get that from Tommy DeVito. So I'm glad he has a veteran there that knows exactly what's been going. He knows the trenches. He knows what it's like to win on the biggest stage of them all. Dart is privileged to have him there. Hey, if you're talking about 3 of 7 for a guy who's not even going to start, despite what prognosticators are saying, we're not listening to them. We don't want Dart to start. I don't care if he's doing good. We don't want him to start. If he comes in at a certain point in the season, different topic altogether. We do not want him under any circumstances to be starting week 1 in this particular situation, especially with Andrew Thomas being on the pup list. But that's another story altogether. We get to that, but I'm good. I scored a touchdown pass to Theo Johnson. I like that. Keep more of that going because we really need production from Theo. I think Bellinger, I think we discussed this last week. He's probably going to fall to the 2 spot, if not the 3 spot, if Fedone is really going to take that next step. So I'm glad he's throwing the ball to Theo Johnson. They're getting familiar with each other. That's a good thing. I'm not worried about it. All the guys that dump on Dart, those are the ones that say, see, I told you. He threw an interception. I'm like, okay. Is that what we doing? Picking apart every single thing that these guys really. He's not supposed to be the starter. He's supposed to be the second or third. Third.
He's supposed to be third. Like Jameis theoretically should be starting over him in case of emergency.
I want that when the situation calls for it. When Brian Daboll sees that, or Kafka, or both, when they see that Dart is ready for the next step, hopefully, because their job literally depend on it. So I really hope that they are able to see that with clear vision. Dust off the dusty glasses, make sure you can see straight, because that call, when you make it, there ain't no going back. Your job is on the line when that man hits the field as a starter. So take all the time you need, sir, because like I said, your job and your family getting fed plays a part in all of this stuff. So by all means, take your sweet time. But I'm sorry I missed the camp today. I am going to be on it going forward. Whether you text me or not, whether you text your boy to remind me or not, I'm still going to make sure I'm on this. If I got to put it in my phone, I'll make it happen. But
dude, I was like in between every one of my meetings today. I'm on Twitter. I'm following live updates. I'm like tracking everything on my phone. I'm like going nuts over this stuff.
I'm not getting anything. I got the Giants app. Why am I not seeing anything?
Don't be on the Giants app. What I do is I have an entire tab on Twitter /X just for the New York Giants. I've just got I don't know if you can see this here. It's probably reflecting with the light and everything. Yeah, I have a tab just dedicated to people tweeting about the Giants and everything. So I'm just tracking that. I'm getting all the live updates from the people at the camp. I'm just tracking all of that. I'm like, okay.
I don't know how you're doing that. No worries.
I don't even know how I got it. I think I just joined a Giants community and got added to this thing. And the algorithm was like, you know what? You have a For You page, a following page, and then just New York Giants.
No, you definitely joined the group.
Yeah, I think this is how I did.
Man, so those groups I did. If you find it valuable, hey man, I applaud you, man. So those groups I've been challenged where I'm like, man, y'all talk about nothing in these groups. But I'll find some way to stay in the Giants loop. No worries there. All right, so I guess we can see that they're having some growing pains and they're figuring some stuff out. We didn't plan to talk about this, but I guess we need to talk about it a little bit with the Andrew Thomas situation. Eric Gray, my feelings for him they're not going to change. I would have loved to have had somebody else inside there. That's an ugly. Maybe perhaps that person's on the roster. Maybe it's terrible. Maybe somebody else.
Yeah,
I didn't feel him when he came through, and it had to do it from Clemson. It had nothing to do with any of that stuff. Just didn't feel it. I didn't feel it.
Going to be some man. I thought he was. Remember that preseason game? I forget how long that long touchdown run. He just ripped that thing out. Went the distance. I was like, oh boy, we found a one. And
yeah, I got a feeling I know what you mean, but yeah, I can't sit here right now, July 23rd, 2025, and I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I think we like Baker a lot. I think Singletary is still on the roster. I have no idea what we're going to get from him. I think I kind of want more Scatterbo in the second spot, so hopefully he can win that. Because having Singletary in the 3 spot is much better than having Gray there. And I mean that with all respect to Eric Gray. He runs punch returns best for us and everything. And
he just fumbled. This was the issue last year with Gray, with Singletary, with Tracy. They kept putting the ball on the darn ground. Did we not learn from Tiki? You got it high and tight, baby. High and tight.
We didn't learn from Tiki.
Even Saquon
we didn't learn from Tiki.
I dropping the ball for us.
Yeah. I don't understand why that even happened either. Sometimes it happened in some of the worst spots. I'm like, oh my God. I feel like my heart didn't beat for 4 or 5 minutes for uncomfortable.
Like that week 2 against Washington, we are just taking it to them, starting the second half. Looks like we're about to go up 2 scores. Boom, ball on the ground.
Ooh.
Offense didn't look the same the rest of the way. But with Andrew Thomas, the expectations that he's going to be ready for week 1. I'm not thrilled that he's going to then kind of be playing himself back into shape, especially with the gauntlet we have to start the season. I mean, weeks 1 to 4, we have at Washington, at Dallas, home for the Chiefs, home for the Chargers, before we finally go into a game where we might be favored in at New Orleans. Like, we don't even get New Orleans at home. So it's going to be one of those things where, I mean, look, being on the PUP list doesn't mean he's going to be out for all of training camp. People have gone on PUP lists for 2-3 days, a week, sometimes longer. But my expectation is that, that the way Shane's talking about it, the way Dable was talking about it, it's nothing to really be all that concerned about.
Okay.
But you've just got to focus up and sorry. Some noise in my background. One second.
So make sure it's not an axe murderer, so I know who to call. This station break is brought to you by Jess and the Axe Murderer. Thank you for watching. Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No axe murder. No axe murder.
We're good. I don't know what to do until you do that. I don't do more. Oh, I hope.
But with Thomas, it seems like, again, they're not too concerned. But each day that goes by in training camp, I am going to be a bit more starting to be like, okay, is he going to be okay? Are we okay? Because he will make or break our offensive line. We've gone over this, them with and without him. Like, that's a whole, I think we were like a full 2 to 3 points better with him last season than without him. And with, in a game of inches, every point counts. Yeah. So you can't really operate without him. And I want him to have that consistency. I want him to have that, rapport with Wilson and the timing on rollouts and, just Wilson, knowing what it's like to have him there. Yeah. I even if he's healthy and practicing, I'd say definitely keep him out in the preseason games, but I want him to be practicing, but obviously he's not ready just yet. He was able to throw out the first pitch at a Yankee game not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So I'm not too concerned about him, as I was saying, but again, like, it is training camp. It is the time where I want him to be, starting to work his way back in, even if he's just on the sideline there, but we got to wait for him to get off the PUP list. And I don't know how long it's going to be, but hopefully not too long.
Yeah, I'm concerned. There's a feeling I'm not in the pit of my stomach when we talk about this kind of stuff, because I really felt as though when we was in the draft, and I have my own little draft, because I know I'm not working for the Giants. Don't anybody tell me that. I get that. I'm not employed. But I had my own little draft list, and I had 2 or 3 line guys on it. With the amount of picks that we had, and I was even factoring in a potential trade back, and I thought we were going to do that at one point in the draft. I thought we would have at least 3 linemen to come out of there. Nothing against Marcus Bowe. I think he's going to be fantastic for us. I like him in the spot that he is. I think he's going to be able to work into that primary spot and take over the role. I think he should do that easily, in my humble assessment. But I was concerned about the fact that we didn't get many linemen out of the draft, and we got a lot of UDFAs, but you never know how that's going to turn out. You know how that is. So we'll see how that works. We start trimming the roster down. We'll see how that really helps us out. We have some gems in there because a lot of gems came through UDFAs. I don't ever want to spit on that. A lot of gems that made Hall of Fame careers came through there. Everybody wasn't a first round pick. But, I'm concerned about, what the line looks like depth wise, especially when AT's not in there. So it's like, who's going to be in that spot? There's no name you can name I'm going to feel good about, unless you say Andrew Thomas. So kind of concerned about how that looks, kind of concerned about the depth behind him and him not being there for a full season. I think James Hudson is decent. Don't get me wrong. But as far as taking over for a long stretch, presumably, I don't have confidence until I actually see it. So I really want Thomas to be healthy. That would be the ideal scenario for us. I mean, Russell, I'm not sure he's had. I think back to his time in Seattle. I can't remember who his left tackle was, but he hasn't had a good left tackle in a long time. Even in Pittsburgh, it wasn't. No, it wasn't ideal. In Denver, it most definitely wasn't ideal who he had a left tackle. I remember, I know the name, but they escaped me right now. All three of them. I know the guy in Seattle, Denver, and in Pittsburgh. I'm blanking out on them right now, but they weren't ideal. Andrew Thomas might be the best of all of those, potentially. So Harry Henry, like you said, great comfort zone. So I'd love for him to experience that and have that flexibility, because we need him to throw the ball down the field and have time, and protecting that left side is a big deal. So I am pretty hopeful we can get that going, but I guess we'll see how long he's going to be able to put up this. They said maybe potentially starting the season that way, which I hope is not true. We need to go out guns blazing because nobody gives us a chance to do anything, as we can tell from our recent conversation that we've been reading. I think we're going to do anything of any note. I got people who, excuse me, jumping on my back on Twitter laughing at us, laughing at you and I, saying the Giants are going to win more than 3 games. I'm like, really? We did that last year. You think that the defense that we just added is not going to help us win at least one more game, at least 2? Seriously? So we're getting stomped all over right now, but we got a chance to fix it on the field and to show up. We need AT. So
yeah, another guy that we need to show up is Dex, because Dex wasn't practicing today either, if I'm not mistaken, or at the very least, he was severely limited. But to take this in a more positive direction,
yeah, why not?
Great day from Russ, great day from Leak. They looked good. Timing is getting better according to every report, like Russ, and this is the big thing that I've heard everybody talking about, and you and I talked a bit about this when we were talking about, what can Russ truly bring to the Giants that's going to be a substantial improvement over what they had last year.
Okay.
And that was Russ's decision-making and his timing. And both were on display today. He was like 10 of 17, multiple touchdowns. Well, Malik Neighbors was really the only wide receiver to really be dicing it up in and scoring touchdowns today. It was a lot of red zone stuff. It was a lot of, quick game. So Wandale got involved. Slayton did get involved. As you said, Theo got involved. And Malik Neighbors went ballistic. He had 2, debatably 3 touchdowns, depending on which video angle you had of one of those in the end zone when he was going to battle with Deonte Banks, I believe it was. But Russ, the way the ball was coming off his hands, he scanned the field, boom, decision made. Scan the field, boom, decision made. No hesitancy, confidence, layering the ball over defenders. I wish they didn't run as many red zone goal line fades. There is only one guy in NFL history that made that in a good play, and that's Calvin Johnson. He's the only guy that had actual consistent success with those goal line fades. And Malik Neighbors, as great as he is certainly at the bare minimum not built like Calvin Johnson. He is not built like Megatron. He's not some 6'4", 6'5", 240-pound super freak athlete. He is not Calvin Johnson. He is not Randy Moss. So I hope they get back to a little more of the creativity that they had in 2022 in the red zone, particularly in the 10 yards and in area. But great day from those guys, Wilson and Malik.
All right, well, that's fantastic news. I'm definitely going to take that because that's great. I'll take it. We definitely need that. I did hear that what you were saying about the players. I didn't hear you mention the name Jalen Hyatt, which I guess is something to be watching out for because you named almost everybody but him.
What I was seeing, reading, hearing, Hyatt not really involved today. Now, again, this was a red zone day, so if they're going to be when they rotate Hyatt in come the regular season, it's going to be a lot of like those deep ball opportunities. You're not throwing a deep ball in the red zone really, unless you've got like someone running like a post or a streak up the sideline because you're at the 20 and you're just taking a shot at the end zone right there. But that didn't seem to be what they were running at all.
Yeah. Okay. I need to catch some replays today. I didn't even realize it was the second day. I've been out of the loop, brother. I've been rolling this week already so far. Found out that Malik Neighbors was a full participant. I think they took some concern about his toe, which I hate hearing about. It's been going on since college, since LSU.
Which is weird. Because I've heard sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you've heard this, but when I was listening to Talking Giants earlier and Justin Pennick was talking about this, he was saying that some of his connections at LSU were saying, we didn't really have to deal anything with Neighbors' toe. So it seems like there's some kind of discussion here about when and where this really started. But sorry, I interrupted you.
You're good. I don't know. I'm just going by what I'm reading too. I'm like, is there a problem there?
Did you hear about like this coming up at all last year? Because I know he had the concussion mid-season, missed a couple of games. I remember maybe like something about the toe, but it never kept him out or anything.
I did hear about it last year, but like you said, nothing that kind of kept him out. So I'm like, I don't like to hear that because it kind of reminds me of who. Like, he's not on this team. I don't even want to think about stuff like that. Somebody who has an injury that they said started from college years. And guess what? Happened to be the same exact college. Coincidence? I don't know. But the same college, OBJ had this issue and this way back then and just kept popping up. And then the man had some real trouble with it. And he was out for a significant amount of time. And his career was never the same again. So I'm like, I don't want to hear this. This is bringing back bad memories for me. I don't want to hear it. But he had a great day for what I'm hearing. He was called in 3 touchdowns and had a great juggling catch in the corner of the end zone. That's what you want from your number one guy. So I'm good with this. Also on the Andrew Thomas front, it sounds as though the organization is pretty confident he'll be ready for the opener. Can we trust them? In this case, I'm going to trust him because I want to trust him. I want to believe that. So I'm going with it. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. What else we got on the plate, man? What else we talking about today?
Well, again, it's hard to truly give props with the unit they were going up against. But that front seven, man, living in the backfield. Brian Burns could not be stopped today. Kayvon had a great day. Carter even, was in the backfield fairly often. Now, again, I don't know how much Jermaine Illuminor was really doing out there. Obviously, Andrew Thomas wasn't out there. They had Neal rotating in at both guard spots. Okay. So, but again, man, I'm so excited for this front four, man. I'm so excited once Dex comes back. Just getting to see what they can do out there against that Washington offensive line week 1. I cannot wait. So I want to see, and especially when we get into who are they doing joint practices with?
I have no idea. I haven't gotten that far. I'm trying to get there, but I'm slow to the dance. But believe me, I'll be in regular season form before you know it. So
there'll be two joint practices with the Jets. Starting.
I guess it's convenient.
Week convenient. August 16th.
I know why it's convenient, but I'm really tired of those.
What do you got against joint practices?
I don't. I'm tired of the Jets being in the joint practice.
A lot of those fans have been talking mad smack for a franchise that hasn't done anything in 50 years.
I kind of just feel like it's just straight conspiracy theory. This has nothing to do with anything based on any real facts, I don't think. But it's like it's kind of like having a joint practice with the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
you're putting our team in a position where if certain things happen, it could affect the outcome of our season. The Giants, they're not playing against each other most of the time, and they have a different rivalry. It's preseason mostly when they play each other most time. I think every preseason they got one of them on the roster. They got the Jets on the roster. But, they are rivals, Play in the same stadium. People got this little big brother, little brother thing going on. It's like,
little brother's always talking.
Yeah, with little brother taking your big brother down, those are brownie points.
Look, man, it'll be a preseason game. I'm sure things are going to get heated in those joint practices.
Oh, yeah.
Hands are going to be thrown. Good. That's what happened last year against Detroit.
And Green stepping on blue ankles. You get what I'm saying? I'm tired of dancing around. I'm just putting it out here. This is what I'm saying. I don't want nobody just in green stepping on nobody in blue on the ankles and messing up.
I know that. And those guys, we need a real live practice. I would rather Bobby Okereke light up Breece Hall than Tyrone Tracy. You know what I mean?
Fair. I'm with that.
I'd rather have them have that fire. But yeah, I feel like we have a preseason game against the Jets every year, and that will be the case this year. Joint practices, like I said earlier, going to start up the week going into the second preseason game, which will be Saturday, August 16th. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But another guy that had a good day from what I was reading, well, maybe not a good day, but he certainly got his shots in, was Deonte Banks. Kind of another very Deonte Banks day where he, particularly when he was going up against Neighbors, he's tight with Neighbors, he's in Neighbors' face, and then just does not turn his head around. There were several plays where Neighbors was able to make a play on the ball. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Neighbors was able to make a play on the ball, and had Deonte Banks just been able to turn his head, get a hand up, something like he could have full on broken up the pass. Could have really boxed Neighbors out, got a hand up, swatted something down, maybe gotten a pick, but he's top 5 in lack of separation allowed, and then just still will get mossed, will get played on, will not make the best tackle, and it's just he's so much talent, and it is so frustrating because it's just this one little thing. But then he'll have plenty of plays like he did today in practice where just he's up in their grill, able to get his hands up even though he's not turned around, able to disrupt the pass. And it's like, okay, please turn your head around. That could have been a pick. Wilson underthrew that one. Neighbors made a great play on the ball, but that could have easily been a pick for you. And then you look over on the other side of the field, and Paulson Adebo is swan down passes. Just turn your head around, please, Deontay. Flott started over you with the first team today. Got plenty of rotation. I don't know what the exact breakdown of those split reps were, but I know in all of the video coming out here, one video is you getting, mossed by Neighbors. Another video of you is you breaking up that pass, but still just turn your head around, please.
I mean, this whole thing feels like it's just Daboll making this guy work for this, because last year was not good. It was considered ugly by many. And now we're sitting here in training camp and he still can't get his hair turned around. You're going to give us a lot of penalties on this field, aren't you? You're going to be up for a lot of penalties, aren't you? A lot of penalty yards. Why can't he get that part? I'd love for Flott to take over if he could do what he won't do and produce, but it's like everybody just expects that Banks is going to be the starter. I guess in some places it's inevitable, but if that kind of stuff is happening, I mean, I seen the play you were talking about with Malik. I mean, no head turn. It was just like you were fortunate to get away with, with a non-touchdown in that situation with Neighbors. I mean, it's just like I feel like we just be talking about Banks forever. It's like, man, at some point you gotta get tired of this. I know I am. I'm like, man, this what we doing? Come on, let's get past this, please. I mean, stuff you're talking about, that's simple cornerback stuff that people have been learning since what? High school, at least. I mean, come on. So I'm not thrilled about that. I know that Flott is definitely getting a chance to surprise, and hopefully it's not half-hearted and they really giving him a shot at it. And if Banks wants to earn it, he's going to have all camp to earn it, but I don't think it's going to be a guarantee. You know what? After last year, it shouldn't be a guarantee because he played awful.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really hoping that him being the CB2, not having to follow the, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase around will allow him to just, play a bit more free. But again, like, it's just this one thing. It is this one thing that it feels like it's going to make or break his career here.
I mean, the coaches are going crazy over it. I can only imagine them on the sideline. Like, what in the world? This kind of stuff, man. Vets that are less talented, even they get this. I don't understand why what are we missing?
And it's one of those things that he's going to leave the Giants and then he's going to fix it. Like, that's going to be what he needs to wake up, and it's going to be the most frustrating thing in the world.
That's frustrating just thinking about it.
Yeah. Fix
it now. We brought you in. Wasn't he was the first round pick, correct?
2023.
We obviously believe in you. Can you please believe in yourself and turn your blasted head around? Is that going to kill you? All right, so Kafka is calling plays again, man.
Yeah, that was fun. There was a play in the red zone there where it was like, oh yeah, that looks like 2022, where taking the snap, play action, I think it was, Russ steps back and then underhand tosses it to Theo Johnson sneaking around behind the lineman. That was something out of Kansas City. I heard people talking about this, and that was like when they're like, "Oh, that's a Kafka play," because he came up from there. He was in Kansas City. He knows what they love to do with Travis Kelce. Yeah. So I'm hoping again. Like, I don't know what it was with Daboll last year, but like again, you get into the red zone, you need to turn these into touchdowns, not field goals. You got to have some creativity, and I don't want them getting too fancy with it. Like, I hate when they get too fancy. But if every now and then you just need you need something, you need a spark. All of a sudden, kind of going into the bag of tricks. Don't be scared to do that. And it felt like the Giants were scared to do that last year.
Yeah. Here's a question I have for you. I want to ask you this specifically because I honestly don't know the answer to this. I seen the back and forth with Kafka and Daboll and the shifting of responsibilities that Daboll said wasn't a real thing. Yeah, it was. He was calling plays. multiple times. So we're not football guru, but we're not stupid either. We know you calling plays. All right. So tell me why you felt like Kafka didn't hold that job down the entire time without anybody having to take the responsibility from him. Was it because of the personnel and how inefficient they were, or was it something that he was figuring out? What do you think it was?
I think it was that after the struggles of 2023, and then there was, I think it was like in that winning stretch there, or at the very least the back half of the season, Dable took over play calling, and there seemed to be something there with the Giants. And I remember everybody kind of calling for Dable should call the plays. And then we come into 2024, Dable is coaching for his job, and I think he had lost a bit of trust in Kafka. But then things obviously in 2024 weren't even as good as they were in 2023. Now, I think a very large part of that wasn't necessarily the play calling, but rather the quarterback play. Like, you can call up a play all you want. It could be the greatest play ever conceived. It could be the perfect play call against this coverage. And if the quarterback can't execute, if the personnel out there can't do their job properly, it doesn't matter. And I think now that they feel like they have a quarterback that they can trust a bit, I think also maybe Dable feels a little bit more secure in his job. They took the quarterback. They have all this, kind of, I don't want to say guarantees for the future, but I think if they do lose Dable, if like they get rid of Shane and Dable after this year and just bring in a new GM and head coach and all that sort of stuff, then I think that would be crazy to do that with Dart having, he's this developmental piece and he's had like 1 year in one system and he's already now got to learn a new one. So I think Dable's mindset is a bit more like that. So he's like, okay, let's go back to 2022. Let's see what worked. And I think he's, kind of got some more faith in Kafka maybe. I mean, the vibes around this team just feel different this year. I don't know if it's because DJ's gone and there's, like an adult in that QB room now with Russ. I don't know what it is, but the vibe feels different. And I think Dable feels that too.
Okay. He said an adult. Ouch.
Well,
I'm just curious. I mean,
like DJ isn't, a grown man, and I do think DJ is better than maybe people give him credit for. But there is a difference in between, having DJ who clearly had no confidence in himself by the end of his time there, was doubting every decision he made, was super hesitant, and now you've got this guy who's at the very least a borderline Hall of Famer. Maybe he's not a full-on Hall of Famer yet. But Russ is an MVP candidate guy. He's gotten some votes in his best years. He's won a Super Bowl, albeit more as a passenger. But then in 2014, they got back. He's been an All-Pro. I'm pretty sure he's gotten at least one All-Pro. And, he's just a different caliber of guy. Not to mention, again, he's been in the league for 14 years. He by quarterback standards, he's an old man.
Yeah. Well, we can see, just to cap it off, we can see any level of success like what Kafka had elsewhere. I think we'll all be happy with it. You want to spend a little time jumping into this penalty conversation? We kind of holding it for a couple of weeks.
I think
we got to spend a lot of time there.
I think we'll end. I think we should end. Just get it out of the way. This kind of crazy roster list that ESPN put out.
Oh God!
I know you wanted to talk about this one.
Well, yeah, sure. That's a funny way of putting it. Man, I don't even know where to start. Because we had two stories that we were going to get into, and I feel like I lost. No, I didn't. All right, so I know that we're going to get kicked around as a team just because of what we went through last year and the years before, to be honest with you, the past few years at least, I get that stuff. I mean, we even got kicked around in 2022, and that was supposed to be a good year, a positive for us. And we still were getting smacked around in the rankings. Power rankings, I get that. That's going to just happen. We're going to be in the lower percentile until we're not. No other way to get around that for me. This thing right here that you unveiled and showed me that I didn't know was out there, this is hitting me in a whole different place. If you guys are Giants fans and you're watching and listening, this doesn't bother you, okay, I'm wondering about you. I'm wondering where you are here and here. I'm wondering about you because this is straight taking me off. this. I'm having just explain it because he's probably more level-headed about this than I am right now. I'm gonna have him explain it in a little bit, but this is not a power ranking. This rankings list. It was on ESPN, but they ranked the NFL rosters for 2025. That means that to some degree, this is predictive. That means that they're basing this based on what the teams actually have in place right now. Doesn't count or factor in cuts. The cuts to 53 doesn't factor those things in. It's just what we have right now that carried over from last year. They got the Ravens at number 1, I believe it is, right? Is that right?
Yep. Baltimore's number 1.
What?
I believe
Okay,
Philly is number 2. Here's the top 5. At number 5, Kansas City. Number 4, Buffalo. Number 3, Detroit. Number 2, Philly. Number 1, Baltimore. Baltimore at number 1 is crazy to me. So that already kind of, I'm not taking this list seriously.
There's a lot of things, even in that. I don't really have anything to say about the meat in this top 5 sandwich that you just laid out. I don't really have a problem with the Eagles and the Lions and the Bills being there. Doesn't really bother me at all because they all have strong rosters. You can decide whether they're top 5 strong or not. But as a Giants fan, and this is just speaking overall, I would love to trade any roster with them that they have. With the Lions, I mean, they got strength on offense and defense. I would love to have that kind of talent they have. Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. Even Jared Goff is, I'll take it in a minute. Buffalo Bills. I mean, I love me some Shakir. I mean, I would take that in a minute. That's not even an issue for me. The Eagles, they won a Super Bowl. You can't say they're not a strong roster up and down. They got Goliath on the line on both sides in the trenches. So why would you not want that? I'm good with that. The number 1 and number 5 in that top 5. I don't know about any of that stuff. First off, KC, they're making sure they're going to have some of the guys that they're talking about in this roster. They might not even be here. They might be in jail. They don't even know what's going to happen with that. So that's a lot of predictions, a lot of question marks that put them in the top 5. The Ravens. I was talking to you about it offline. I'm like, we got some things to be concerned about. The Ravens don't have things wrapped up. They may not be the best, most talented team in their division. That might not be a given. If you're saying because they got D-Hop that made them better, okay. I like Bateman, but not enough to give him the contract he just got based on his play. Zay Flowers could be the number 1, but he's had some challenges with taking over that role from a health and consistency standpoint. You got some issues at running back, in my opinion. You love Keaton Mitchell. I'm not against him. I think
I love my boy.
I think he has the potential, and I'm saying this so I can get you off of the Keaton Mitchell center. I think he has the potential to be a strong player in this race. Justice Hill's in front of him, and until he unseats him, he's going to be back there doing whatever they're going to have him doing in Baltimore. But if Derrick Henry gets hurt, who's taking over? It's going to probably be Justice Hill, probably. You like the idea that him carrying the load? We've seen him do that before, and we've seen what the result was. It wasn't good. You know what ended up happening? Lamar Jackson ran way more than he should have as a quarterback. He was taking his running back's place. That's how much they had confidence in their running back. And this was before King Henry was even on the team. So that doesn't sound like a strong number 1 lineup to me. I got questioned about that kind of stuff. Even what they got going on at tight end. Mark Andrews is getting back to being at full strength. He was still struggling with that. Likely had an opportunity to basically take over the role. And guess what? He couldn't pull it off. And that wasn't Lamar Jackson's fault either. So to me, it doesn't sound like a number one roster to me. And I haven't even gotten into the defense yet. That's just the offense. So I mean, I don't know who's making these rankings. I don't know who set this up, but that number one, number five was a horrible idea. We haven't even gotten into the rest of it yet. And we're the Giants already yet. We're going to do that, but Ravens number one, no. The Chiefs number 5, I don't think so.
I think the Chiefs belong in the top 5. Honestly, I mainly off the strength of that defense. They have some question marks at wide receiver. They have some question marks at running back. Is Isaiah Pacheco going to be healthy and, back to form? Is that offensive line going to be able to bounce back, especially without Thuney there? So, it feels like, and even the Lions to me are question marks. You lost Frank Ragnow to retirement. You lost Zeitler to the Titans, I think he left to. So you've lost 2/5 of your starting offensive line there. That's 40%. You're now starting your weakest offensive lineman from last year, who was a left guard at center. You have a second-round pick this year in Tate Ratledge. I believe he's going to be starting at right guard. And then you have Christian Mahogany, I think it was, or God, his,
6th rounder.
Yeah, he was the 6th rounder, starting at projected at left guard. Then you have all of these injuries coming back from the defensive side. Is Aiden Hutchinson going to be looking like Defensive Player of the Year Aiden Hutchinson again? But you want to know what really grinds my gears here?
Which one?
The team at number 7, Washington. You mean to tell me Washington has the 7th best roster in football? I know they were fantastic last year. Way better than anyone expected. But that defense wasn't some lights out defense. They got a lot of questions in that secondary. Marshawn Lattimore, who they traded for, did not look like, 2019 Marshawn Lattimore here. The guy who was locking down and fighting Mike Evans.
They don't have a pass rush.
They've got, some good names there on the defensive line, but Bobby Wagner's another year older. Frankie Louvu, though, is fantastic. They've got some great off-ball linebackers here, but that secondary raises a lot of question marks. They're a good run-stopping offensive line, but they need a pass rush spark, and I don't know who that's going to come from. Is that going to come from Dorrance Armstrong here? Is Darren Payne, Javon Kinlaw, and Jazon Newton going to really turn into these kind of dual threat kind of defensive tackles? Washington has every right now to be talking smack to the Giants. Every team in the NFC East does. We got to earn our cred back. But at the same time, I'm sorry, I don't think Washington is a top 10 roster. Off of the bat, and this is again what you and I were talking about off air. Are they projecting? Is this what they expect? There's going to be a jump here? Is Laramie Tunsil really going to make that much of a difference there for the offensive line as a whole unit? Maybe he'll have an Andrew Thomas level effect. But right now, I think you could definitely make a case that a team like the Rams, a team like even the Niners. What about Tampa? What about Green Bay? Teams that might have better overall rosters than Washington, but off of what we expect from Jaden Daniels in particular, Washington is a better team. There's a difference there. Which team is better? The Chiefs or the Eagles with Patrick or the Eagles. Philly right now, it looks like a better team. They are a much better overall roster. But the quarterback position is weighed so heavily. So which would you rather have? Would you rather have Mahomes or the Eagles roster? That is a genuine question. Do you think I don't know if Daniel Jones is the quarterback of Philly. Are we looking at that team the same? Like, I don't know what they're weighing here. Like James Daniels might be the 7th best quarterback. I don't think Washington is the 7th best roster. You got the Giants all the way down there at 27. I don't know. I think the Giants might have a better roster than Indianapolis. Like I think the case could be made we have a better roster than Atlanta. I think our case can be made we have a better roster than Miami. Like I'm not as like we definitely have a better roster than New England.
Oh, God.
Like I don't understand where the judgment like I'm sorry, do we not have a better roster than Jacksonville? Like who on Jacksonville? Like the Trayvon Walker has looked improved. Josh Hines Allen is great. Trevor Lawrence certainly has all the potential in the world. Brian Thomas Jr. was fantastic, in his rookie year. I don't know if there's a single other player on the roster that like
you probably can keep on going, man, and say who our roster is probably better than. That's the scary part. You can probably keep going. But we can name 2 or 3 more. This has to be projection.
The Raiders?
Do I need to say it?
I mean, the Raiders certainly have individual players like Max Crosby. Max Crosby is phenomenal. Christian Wilkins is great. Geno Smith is probably a better quarterback right now, or at the very least has an argument to be. Ashton Gianti, phenomenal prospect, complete unknown right now.
Unknown is the important part. This is the projection.
Brock Bowers might be already the best tight end in football, but other than that, like their offensive line has a chance at being the worst in football this year. So does the Giants, but at least the Giants have Andrew Thomas. If Andrew Thomas is healthy, he's individually better than any single player on that Raiders offensive line, and quite honestly, it's not close. If he isn't healthy, then I think the Giants probably have a worse offensive line. But if Andrew Thomas is playing, then that's something else. Like Miami has a ton of question marks if Tua can stay healthy. If that offensive and defensive line is going to be able to stop anybody from getting to the quarterback or even be able to get to the quarterback. And they don't have anybody in the secondary now outside of Minka. Is Jalen Phillips going to really Bradley Chubb? Are they going to have to carry that entire defense? Like, I just think that the Giants have, at the very least, some more better known commodities than some of these teams, especially at the high end. Like the Giants have this high end talent. It's the rest that sucks. So I don't know. I guess it depends on really what you weigh here. But like, I think the Giants could be as high as like 20. I think they could easily be 7 spots higher.
They can be there for most of these rankings if people are being fair to them. This has to be projection. There's no other way to describe it, because you can't put the Raiders based on what even the fancy names you name. Kudos to you for doing that, but they still the Raiders in every conceivable way. And there's no way in the world you can put them over the Giants as having the best roster. That is absolutely insane. Jacksonville, insane. Matter of fact, the Titans too. You can't do that. So to me, this has to be projection based. It has to. There's no other explanation for it. Because even matter of fact, that's top 10. I don't think we have enough time to tear that apart. The Bengals are at 8, I think, in this ranking. If I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there.
There are 5 teams worse according to this list. The Titans, the Jets, the Panthers, the Browns, the Saints. honestly, of all of those teams, I think one team like has a case as being, in the same tier as the Giants, and that's the Jets, because again of the strength of that defensive unit. But even then, it's like I don't like the fact that the Giants are that low. Like
the best roster. That's what this is about. The best roster. You got to include the Bears. You got to include the Saints. You already included Atlanta. The Niners are in the top 10 in this list. Help me figure that thing out.
Figure that out. I think a lot of it is like off of like brand. Like what is the brand of your team right now? Like,
and I'd be open about that. Projecting on team, projections on potential numbers and what have you. I mean, this is the Niners and the Bengals. There's no way that they should even be in this conversation, even with a stud or two that they have on their team. They can't be here. They can't be here. So I don't understand this roster. Or this roster ranking. I don't get it. It says even in the beginning of it that it's projected by talent and age. I mean, talent that alone is like, okay. Oh, this is nuts to me. But I guess the whole point of this is that, and I forgot where we are in this ranking, probably near the bottom somewhere again. It just out of 32 teams. So it just feels like there's an anti-Giant slant on this. We did a roster by roster and line them up side by side. Will we have the biggest names on there? I don't know, but what about the production part? I mean, if you just got to talk about flashy names or people who don't perform, okay, the Bengals shouldn't be in here, period. They got Chase and Higgins and Burrow. Without those three guys on this team, you can't name anybody else, and you can't see any other production. I can name some more because I know guys like Mike Gesicki. I followed his career, so I can name other people. I can name Chase Brown. He was on my fantasy squad, so I know who he is. You know what I'm saying? But beside that, you can't name anybody else beside those three. You can't tell me that because of those three guys, this is the best roster or a top 10 roster in the entire league, and they finished 9-8 last season. I'm sorry, no. The Niners were busted and disgusted last year because of all the injuries they had and stuff. And it wasn't just injuries, it was just guys that's not even going to be on the team anymore. Ayuk might not be playing for who knows what week he's going to be playing in. Pearsall might not be playing in who knows what week. They both on pup. I don't know where Trent Williams is. They both on pup list right now. So you got Purdy, who's healthy, just got a new contract. McCaffrey, who's recovering from multiple injuries. So who knows who he's going to be. They got rid of Jordan Mason and sent him to Minnesota. So now you got McCaffrey and Garendo behind him, which he has all the makings of a stud running back, but injury-wise, he can't put it together. So how is the top 10 roster based on? It's not the defense, because the defense was a sieve for them last year, even before people got injured. I watched the team. I know this. So the struggle was real. They were relying on Juwan Jennings to catch passes because they didn't have anybody else. There's no way where it's in the top 10 roster. I'm trying to figure out where they're getting this stuff from. If it's deciding to tick me off, it's working. Because I'm like, I don't get this. And we're at 27 on top of all that stuff, all of the talent that's on this team. We're at 27. We're almost one of the worst rosters.
We're a bottom tier roster according to this list.
Absolutely abhorrent.
Like, again, I'm not arguing for the Giants to be top 10.
Oh,
but I definitely think like I don't know, man. I don't think we're not going to be changing anybody's minds here. But I don't have too much more to say about this. And we've talked about these rosters and these lists and all of the disrespect. And at the end of the day, you know how the only way the Giants are going to get respect moving forward is if we go out there in the regular season and we win games. That's all we're going to be able to do.
All those groups between 21 and 26, that's an abomination to me. I'm sorry. I don't care.
No, that is like crazy. Some of that is crazy.
Against their team, too bad. They should not be above the Giants as far as the best roster. But I'm done too, brother. We had a good time. We talked some Giants football finally, and we did it for 60 minutes. So I'm grateful, brother. I'm grateful. Any closing thoughts before we head out of here? I need to go catch up on some camp, man. I need to get
I'm just excited. Training camp's here. That's a sign. Start doing your fantasy prep, everybody.
Yeah, I'm already starting. All right, man. Well, this is the Big Blue Lifers podcast. Thank you again for listening to our show. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We love New York Football Giants, and we don't care if you don't. We do. So we're gonna talk about Big Blue all day, every day. So stay tuned. We're gonna have a lot of episodes leading up to the season, and maybe some pop-ins during the season when things get really hot and heavy. So we're excited about this podcast. Thanks for riding with us. Follow us on all the socials, and have a fantastic Big Blue day. We got it.